Black Myth Wukong, the game at the forefront of everyone's mind since it burst into the scene over 2 years ago with a strong focus on flawless combat and jaw-dropping enemy design, donned this showstopper the name FromSoft Killer, a game in quotes too good to be true. Although sadly, the unspoken truth of Black Myth Wukong has landed the game in development hell, and it seems we may have been right. In order to proceed, we must first discuss the developers themselves. Game Science, a small, independent studio based in Shenzhen, China, previously known for making mobile strategy titles such as The Art of War, Red Tide, and 100 Heroes. Small projects that mainly appeal to the mass Chinese and Southeast Asian audience, seeing as 80% of the greater Asian countries solely play online mobile titles, skyrocketing the mobile games revenue to reach just under 100 billion in 2023 alone. Game Science now move forward with their first standalone title, Black Myth Wukong, a game that pays homage to the massively popular Chinese novel Xi You Ji, or Journey to the West. Although I do not believe this will be a one-for-one retelling, but perhaps we'll discuss the lore of Black Myth Wukong in a future video. So, seeing the beauty of Black Myth Wukong, you wouldn't think that these developers had only worked on mobile titles. Looking at the smooth and enticing gameplay they've provided us over the last few years, you'd expect this to have been crafted through a wealth of expertise and knowledge of AAA development. Well, it seems, and to quote the fans, a game too good to be true, and quite possibly, we have only been sold a concept of the game. A source of ours recently relayed information from the Chinese social media site Weibu, stating that several employees and development leads have either left or been fired from Game Science. On the surface, this may not seem like a big deal to most, but as stated before, Game Science is a rather small studio, as of today manning only a team of 50 to 150 as displayed on their official website, with studio lead and art designer Yoka stating on social media that the main reason for the team's departure was due to a lack of expertise in AAA development. This still reflects in the company's current jobs listings, as they are still looking for multiple level designers, animators, back-end server professionals, and development leads, with each role requiring a minimum experience in AAA development of 3 to 5 years. So it really seems that Game Science have bitten off more than they can chew with this project, and are now releasing less experienced staff and are now clawing for expertise. They even say so themselves, as the Chinese Game Science website states they are in dire need of talent, whilst the translated version of this website hides this fact. Another troubling piece of information stems from one of Game Science's level designers / testers, as he stated in late 2021, only one whole level was launch worthy, with no bugs or fixes required, and shockingly claims that the rest of the game had no enemies, no bosses, nor cutscenes at this time. Only one level. Now you're probably thinking, well, how can that be? We've been shown multiple game trailers revealing a plethora of bosses and enemy types. Whilst we are correct in thinking this, it would seem in this case these pieces of in quotes gameplay were all concept pieces and at this time not reflective of the final product. For example, the entirety of the Ox Fights trailer won't be featured at all in game and was only made for promotional purposes to sell us, and more importantly investors, on the promise of Black Myth. Again, seeing as how massive the Asian gaming market is, it's clear that the truth behind these trailers were to market a product that was potentially not reflective of the game's final version for investors to buy into Game Science. And as of today, it seemed like it had worked, as the monumental conglomerate Tencent now own a portion of Game Science. All we can hope for is that Game Science uses this funding to help create this concept that they have all sold us on, but with a lack of expertise, the lack of staff, and at the rate the game is being developed, with only one level being launch worthy in late 2021, I fear that there is a strong possibility that this game may never see the light of day, or at least be a product of years to come. Moving on, Game Science recently held a Q&A over on their official website with good and more troubling news. A question was asked regarding Black Myth's monetization, to which they answered that the game may have planned DLC down the road and in-game purchases, meaning stating that unfortunately, Black Myth will include a form of in-game microtransactions. This may be a discomfort for some, and seeing as Game Science were a mobile company, I hate to think of how far they might take this, especially now seeing that Tencent are now involved. We reflect on the likes of Valorant and League of Legends storefronts, how egregious they can be, whom Tencent also own. I dread to think of what may come for Black Myth Wukong, although they do state that they will never sell power, meaning that there will be no pay-to-win options. It's still disheartening to see an action game such as this even contain microtransactions at all. On a brighter note, Game Science revealed that they wish for Black Myth Wukong to lead into a series with multiple titles, and lastly confirmed that the team are potentially working on a co-op mode for the game. So tell us, what do you think now we've unmasked the truth? Do you still have faith in Black Myth Wukong? Are you concerned for how far the game's microtransactions will go? Do you agree on Game Science showcasing gameplay concept pieces that may never or in some cases ever exist in the game? Tell us below. Subscribe for more Black Myth Wukong content as we next dive into the game's lore and history. Remember, who we are is unimportant, although the existence of truth will enlighten us all. This is our mantra.